okay, so Jim Acosta, after he voluntarily left CNN, is now trying to have like a tour of sorts where he's going to have people come watch him, or so he thought. The Free Beacon with an amazing piece on how it's going. Andrew Stiles wrote the piece. Jim Acosta throws lamest party ever, even by DC standards, where you're kind of expected to be somewhat of a loser. Okay. This guy wrote a great piece, so I'm going to read from part of it. There are some tickets left, Jim Acosta told his Substack followers a few hours before taking the stage at Lincoln Theater in Washington, D.C. to host a live town hall version of his online chat show he started after his voluntary exit from CNN earlier this year. He wasn't kidding. The lineup for the first and apparently only stop on the Fire Within tour would struggle to draw a crowd almost anywhere else in the country. Rosie O'Donnell, Jasmine Crockett, an assortment of professional Trump haters whose names you would not recognize unless you're the sort of mentally deranged liberal who owns an Anthony Fauci prayer candle and refuses to watch CNN because it's right-wing propaganda. Only the most delirious of hyper-online partisans could stomach the pretentious tagline, fueling courage, defending freedom, igniting truth. Shockingly, people weren't drawn to it, guys, and didn't show up. Venue staff informed the Free Beacon that the upper balcony, comprising nearly half of the venue's 1,200 seats, was closed for reasons that were soon obvious. Generously estimated, the lower section was roughly three-quarters full, about 500 people. As the night wore on, it became clear that a significant portion of them were either members of a federal employee union invited to denounce Trump or had personal or professional connections to one of the, quote, performers. First up, Michael Fanone. This was the guy we were told we were not allowed to criticize because he was a cop on J6, and you were not a patriot and you hated cops. If you noticed that he was a rabid partisan who was suffering from very serious TDS. You were a cop hater if you said, I don't really believe him. He sounds deranged. So he gets up there and do we have okay, and I'll just tell you what he says. Okay. Setting the tone for the show, Fanone laments, we're in a tough fucking spot. Acosta agrees. We are. He's not afraid to express his feelings with expletives. House Speaker Mike Johnson is a petty bitch, surrounded by cocksucking colleagues, not to be confused with the unelected Trump supporters who are dick-sucking ass clowns. Forgive me. This is dirty even for me. Then came someone named Olivia Troye. I don't know her, but she was a... Okay, thank you, Troy. She's a former Republican who spoke at the Democratic National Convention. She's lamenting the loss of the federal bureaucrats who got fired thanks to Doge and Trump, saying it's super upsetting. And I have to say to you that the American people, they may not recognize it right now, but they will realize it in time, the incredible treasure that they've lost. Okay, that wasn't it. Jim Acosta welcomed from across the pond Rosie O'Donnell, who has moved to Ireland to flee Trump and all of his supporters. And here's a little bit of how that went.
This is going to feel like it's right out of the Jim Acosta show on Substack. We're bringing in a live guest, my friend, your friend. It is the wonderful and talented Rosie O'Donnell. There she is.
How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing great, Rosie. How are you?
I'm well. Everybody showed up. How's the crowd?
Not too bad. It's looking good. There's one person in Washington who's probably not pleased that Rosie O'Donnell is being beamed into the Lincoln Theater just down the street from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I can't imagine what's going through his mind right now. The Irish have taken you in there. Top of the morning to you, Rosie.
Oh, my God. Yes, I'm sure Trump was very upset, guys, to see Rosie O'Donnell appearing in front of a couple hundred people at a Jim Acosta town hall. What is he doing? And you tell me why so few people want to help him in his quest to fuel courage, defend freedom, and ignite truth.
Do we know what the ticket price was?
Free.
We must have it somewhere. It's not in front of me. It was probably free because usually at those events when they can't put butts in seats, they run around trying to find people who will just possibly sit there.
I'd be curious what the VIP seats went for.
There weren't. Let me just say this. There weren't any.
That's a serious question. I want to know.
Who's a VIP at a Jim Acosta town hall? She says, by the way, she loves living abroad. She loves living abroad, and she points out that she loves it in part because the only people who like Donald Trump are taxi drivers, those disgusting losers who have to drive cars for a living, unlike Rosie, who's on record as saying that she got so famous she didn't think any laws or rules applied to her. So she's not like a loser taxi driver. That's Rosie, woman of the people. Go ahead, Sean.
So I know something about crowd size. And let me tell you, that was not worrying Donald Trump. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now that is not even getting on his radar. Number two, I will just help him for the next one. And I'm just thinking of how we can connect the dots in some of these segments. What if he leads Corinne Jean-Pierre's book launch? Because I think that together, that would be a huge audience for her. So, I mean, I know it's not a lot at all, but like that's probably as many books as she'll sell total.
That's a good point. That'd be a great way for her to launch. Right. Or she could go on Chuck Todd's podcast or streaming show, which has fewer viewers than are present as guests on this show right now. They gave out awards. They gave out awards to Miles Taylor, the mid-level bureaucrat who wrote the anonymous op-ed in the New York Times about being part of the resistance. He got an award. Tara Setmeyer, the former Lincoln Project advisor, got a Defender of Woman award. Aaron Parnas, a 26-year-old TikTok influencer, recognized as a defender of Gen Z and denounced members of the media, including Jake Tapper, for being more focused on selling books about a former president than they are about telling the truth. And Jim Acosta really wanted people to lean in on the taco messaging around Trump, which is the lamest attempt to take him down. It stands for Trump always chickens out. And they're trying to make this a thing. Acosta attempted some jokes, and this is in part how he started the night in SOT 24.
You guys know this, but it's taco night here at the Lincoln Theater in Washington, D.C. There's a taco right there. This gentleman's wearing a taco on his head. What is going on? My God. The tacos only come in one flavor. That would be chicken. That's right.
God, that is so cringy, Dan. I insist you take responsibility for him as a fellow Democrat.
Yeah, you know what's hard about it is for all those who want to say that he and others during the first Trump term were serious journalists and that they had no partisan bent. It's really hard when they turn around and start doing this and have people like Rosie O'Donnell and you know the like. I don't know what he's doing. I guess he's trying to make some money and he lost his job. And I can't imagine he's going to make a lot of money doing this. But, you know, this is not helping the Democratic Party move forward. I'll just leave it at that.
God, no. Here he is trying to get like a rock concert thing going with the lights. OK, just like when you know you're dying on the vine, just wrap it. You could just wrap it. You don't have to do cell phone lights. But he did. Here it is, SOT 27.
It may feel like we are surrounded in darkness right now. But I think what you just heard here from these gentlemen up here, from Tara, from Aaron, from Miles, is that there's still a lot of light left in all of us. And it would mean something to me if you carry that message with you as we leave this theater here tonight, that this is not a country that is being plunged into darkness. This is a country that can find its way back to the light.
Do you know, a few months ago, that guy was the host of a news program on a network that claims to be objective.
And he should be aware that Trump's approval ratings are at record highs right now. No one's buying this nonsense anymore. We're in darkness. Remember the light. We have to stick together. All the terrible expletives from Fanone, whatever.
You cut that short, though, because then he led them in a full-on version of the Macarena, which really got them excited. And I think that's where he wowed the crowd, is his moves there. So I think
wait, just to give you actually how it went down, here's a little bit more between Rosie and Acosta. SOT 26.
It's like, what's wrong with your voice? Why can't you say you're making no sense, Mr. President? Do you not know what the Declaration of Independence is?
That's a good point. Well, maybe because they saw that I used to do that, and then you saw what happened to me. So
I have to ask me, is this whole thing AI generated?
I'm messing with you.
I must ask, as a journalist, I must ask, because I see indications in there that it's not plausible that that's a real video. So I'll ask directly.
He's trying to say, Mark, that the press is not more aggressive because they're worried about getting Jim Acosta by Trump. That's why they're giving Trump this pass. Go ahead, guys.
No, what would you have to ask ChatGPT for it to come up with something that stupid? Because I feel like whenever you're entering into search
come up with
terms,
Jim Acosta, acting like Jim Acosta.
Oh yeah, well maybe it is that simple then.
Yeah.
Here's how it ended. Here's how it ended. Because continuing his theme, primacy and recency, he really wanted them to remember it. Saw 28.
I forgot to recognize interns. Take a taco hat.
We're gonna pay it forward.
Interns, taco hat.
Here we go. We're going to recognize them and thank them.
Take a taco hat. You get a taco. I'm like Oprah. You get a taco hat, and you get a taco hat.
No, you're not like Oprah.
See, if you look closely, he's got 6 fingers in that shot. It's not real.
It can't be. Sadly, it's real. This administration is working very hard to try and fix this country. But while they're focused on fixing the country, they can't fix your personal finances. That's really up to you. And that's why thousands of Americans are turning to Birch Gold. In the past 12 months, the value of gold has risen by 30%. Think about that. How's your stock market investment doing? Has it gone up 30%? Have you made 30% on your money? And demand is strong and it's growing. While reports are that the BRICS nations are actively working to challenge the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. That's not great. In other uncertain times, gold has offered peace of mind. And in these uncertain times, it does the same. Birch Gold makes it incredibly easy to convert your existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA backed by physical gold. Or if you prefer, you can buy gold to store in your own home safe. Just text MK to the number 989898, and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, only useful information. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, take control of protecting your savings today. Text MK to the number 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.